Signs it's time to leave a relationship. In this video, I'm going to tell you the signs that your relationship is pretty much over and you need to get out now. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. There are no perfect relationships. All relationships have their degrees of problems. There's no such thing as happily ever after. And we all know that, and I think maybe that keeps some people stuck in bad relationships because they think, well, there's no perfect relationship, I can't expect everything to be perfect. But there comes a point where things are beyond repair, where this relationship is just damaging you at this point and you need to walk away. It's not always easy to see though, especially when you've put so much time and energy and love into the relationship. And all of that can't be for nothing. It has to mean something. And you'd rather try and make this work than start again with someone new. But sometimes you are just harming yourself by staying in these situations. Believe me, I know because I've lived it. I really used to be the queen of just overstaying my welcome in a relationship until the guy finally pulled the plug and left me with my heart completely broken. I just never knew when to quit, even when things were really, really bad, because it's so hard to be objective and have clarity in those situations. But that's why I'm here and that's why I made this video. So make sure you watch until the end. Real quick, if you enjoy this video and find it helpful, please give it a like. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you get notified when I post new videos. Follow me on Instagram at A New Mode, and be sure to sign up for the A New Mode newsletter. It is where we share our best content, personal stories, answers to all your questions. Everything is right there, delivered to your inbox every day. You can sign up at anewmode.com/subscribe, and the link is down below. Okay, let's get into it. Number one, you don't like the person you've become. Your self-esteem has taken a huge hit in this relationship, and you just don't even recognize the person that you are. You're not that happy, bubbly, fun, full of life girl anymore. Instead, you're dark, you're angry, you're sad, you're miserable, you're bitter, you're jaded. You're just a shell of who you once were. This isn't the real you, and you know it. But you think that, okay, maybe when things get better, maybe with a little more time, maybe when he stops doing this and we work on this, then everything will be okay again. And we're gonna get into that mentality more a little bit later. But in general, the biggest sign that a relationship has turned toxic and is unhealthy and that it has run its course and it's time to go is you just don't like who you've become. Healthy relationships are vehicles for becoming our best selves. Unhealthy relationships crush our true selves and just leave us gutted and miserable, and in effect, bring out the absolute worst in us. Number two, you are fundamentally incompatible. Now, this is counter to everything we've been told about love our entire lives, because we've been told love conquers all, love will find a way. I'm sorry, but no, that is not true. Love cannot beat fundamental incompatibility. And this is a real thing. Chemistry cannot compensate for a lack in compatibility. If you are not compatible, this relationship just isn't going to work. Some issues just can't be resolved. Sometimes there's no compromise to reach. And if that's the case, you need to ask, can I live with this? People have various deal breakers. It could be religion, it could be politics, it could be where to live, it could be whether or not to have kids and how many kids to have, or what values to raise our children with. It could be, do we want to spend? Do we want to save? I mean, some of these may sound insignificant to some people, but they are a very big deal to other people. If you disagree on some of these major issues, then you need to ask, can we reach a resolution or not? Because certain things, especially when they are major deal breakers, like whether or not to have kids, either one person changes their mind or you learn to live with it, or the relationship has to end. There is no compromise. Sometimes it's just a yes or a no. So you have to be honest. Don't just expect things to magically change with time. Number three, you're holding on to how it used to be. The beginning is always great. Even toxic relationships start out great. Most relationships start out wonderful. And it's very hard to remember that that beginning is a fantasy. That's not reality. That's two people being on their absolute best behavior. It's two people being consumed by chemicals that your body is generating, those chemicals that we feel when we meet someone and feel that a chemistry and attraction, and everything is so new and so fresh. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, this person's my soulmate and this relationship is perfect. And then when things devolve, you just hold on to how good it used to be and how good it could be. And that's the only thing keeping you in the relationship at this point. You have to look at your relationship as it is right now in this moment. And as it's been the last few months, because chances are it hasn't been good in quite a while. What you have now is the reality of your relationship. What you had in the beginning was just an illusion. It's very hard to let go of something that you're used to and that's familiar. I mean, as humans, we find comfort in the familiar, but that doesn't mean that you should stay and that staying is the right decision. Number 4, he doesn't support you. You just don't feel like you have a partner. You don't feel like you have someone that has your back and supports you and is there for you. If anything, he just kind of feels like an adversary. It almost feels like he doesn't want you to have success. He doesn't want good things to happen for you. He's very dismissive when good things happen for you and doesn't attribute any of it to you. He attributes it to chance or to luck or to circumstance. He might just make underhanded comments and criticize you. You just kind of feel alone in the relationship. Number 5, you don't tell the truth about your relationship to anyone. You might find that when you're talking to your friends or your family, you leave out significant pieces of information when talking to them about your relationship. You might convince yourself that, well, if I told them about this, well, they just wouldn't understand, and then they would just think that he's a bad guy, and I don't want them to think that, so I'm just gonna leave that out. Be honest with yourself about how dishonest you're being with the people closest to you. Because if this relationship is on its last leg, then chances are you aren't being honest about it with the people around you because you don't want them to tell you what you already know. Number 6, your resentment tank is full and your love tank is empty. Resentment is what poisons a relationship. And it doesn't just show up one day. It builds slowly over time. And then it gets to a point where you can't see beyond that, where all you have is just these intense feelings of resentment for your partner. And he might have them back towards you. And the relationship is no longer loving and supportive. Instead, it's just a battle of wills. Instead, it's just trying to tear each other down to get back at the other person for some injustice they've committed towards you. Resentment trickles in slowly and then it gushes in. And soon enough, you're drowning in it and it's all you can see. When you resent your partner, you cannot truly love him and you can't respect him. And if you don't have that, you don't really have anything in this relationship. Number 7, he's abusive. Be it physically, mentally, emotionally, abuse should never be tolerated in a relationship. Now, I feel like this is an obvious one, but it's not. Ask anyone who's been in an abusive relationship. It's not so black and white, and it's not so easy to exit those situations. So it's really important to talk to someone, be it a friend, a family member, or a counselor, calling a hotline and getting some objectivity. Because what happens in an abusive relationship is the abuser isn't abusive all the time. Some of the time he's really nice and he's really charming and he might manipulate you and mess with your head. He might gaslight you so that you think, oh, I'm the crazy one. He's not abusive. He only did that because I did this. So really it's my fault and I need to learn how to not do this and then he won't do that. Or he might turn on the charm and be really sweet and be really apologetic and do these grand romantic gestures so that you kind of forget about the abusive behavior. It's just not so clear cut. So if you are in a situation like this, it's really important to lean on other people for support because you are going to need help seeing clearly and getting out of this situation. Number 8, the only thing you're holding on to is the hope that everything will magically change. You hate how things are right now. You feel trapped, you feel stuck, you feel miserable. And the only thing you're hanging on to is that maybe it will change. Maybe as soon as he gets out of debt, maybe as soon as he overcomes his addiction issue, maybe as soon as he gets a job, maybe as soon as he's not depressed anymore, then everything will be better. Maybe that is a possibility, but how long are you willing to invest yourself in this relationship? How much time are you willing to waste? How much more of a toll are you going to let this take on your sense of self, on your self-esteem, on your sense of worth? Factor that in. Again, like I mentioned earlier, you have to look at the relationship that you have right now, not what could be. You can't be in a relationship with potential. You have to date reality and be present in the reality of your situation. Number 9, the trust is gone. Trust is a hard thing to repair. Chip away at it for long enough and it will fully erode and there won't be any coming back. Trust is the most essential ingredient in a relationship. And if you don't have that, then you don't have a foundation to stand on. There could be various reasons why the trust is gone. Maybe he cheated on you. Maybe he used things that you shared with him in moments of vulnerability and he used that against you, which is the absolute worst. There are so many ways someone can violate your trust. And sometimes someone is genuinely sorry and remorseful and you can forgive them, but other times you just can't and you have to be honest with yourself. Number 10, you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, if you've been led here, it's either because you just like watching my videos, you're a fan of this channel, or it's because something isn't right in your relationship and you know that something isn't right, and you're too embarrassed to talk about it with your friends or your family maybe. So you're talking about it with me, a stranger on the internet, and hoping that I'll give you some clarity. Maybe you're hoping that you're just being insecure and paranoid and your relationship is perfect, and that's what I'm gonna tell you. But more likely, you know that things are not good. You know this situation isn't good. You know that you need to get out of this because you deserve better. And if that's the case, I hope that you find better. I hope you stay on this channel, subscribe. I have a lot of content on how to get over a breakup, how to move on, how to be a woman of high value, how to heal after a breakup, how to build your self-esteem. We have tons of content on that, so check that out as well. What did you think of this list? Were there any things I missed? What was the biggest sign that your relationship was over? Did I cover it on this list? Please let me know in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. I love interacting with you. It really creates such a fun sense of community. For more relationship content, check out newmode.com, subscribe to our newsletter, newmode.com/subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @newmode, and I will see you guys in the next video.